Now, throughout One Piece, we've been witnessing Luffy's entire journey as a pirate and a captain of a crew. We've seen him grow from a carefree captain who doesn't really have authority or demand respect from the rest of the crew, to that guy everyone acknowledges as a captain and their actions depend on his decision. Now, you can honestly say there isn't an exact moment where Luffy became a great captain, and throughout all of One Piece we've been watching him become a great captain. But the specific moment I'm going to be talking about during today's video is unlike any moment during the series when it comes to Luffy demonstrating he's an amazing captain. Now, before we get into today's video, if you are new to Anime Double Hunter, welcome. Here on this channel we cover all sorts of One Piece content, weekly reviews, character analysis videos, soon to be arc analysis and more, so definitely subscribe and join the channel. Drop a like if you end up enjoying the video, comment on what you thought of the video, and also comment down below your favorite moment of Luffy in the comment section. I'd love to know. Now let's begin. So let's start with the Drunk Kingdom arc. During the Drunk Kingdom arc, Nami was sick and they needed a doctor. They got close to the island, but the people of Drunk Kingdom refused to let them enter, despite Luffy and the crew letting them know they have someone on the crew who's sick and she needs to see a doctor ASAP. After going back and forth and getting nowhere, the people of Drunk Kingdom start attacking the Straw Hats and Vivi ends up getting grazed by a bullet. Luffy of course gets furious and goes to attack the people of Drunk Kingdom, but before he does, Vivi gets up and tells Luffy to stop. She holds him back and tells him they can't fight them and her wound is just a scratch. Vivi then gets on her knees and bows as she says to the people of Drunk Kingdom, "We won't set foot on your island, but can you please send us a doctor? Our navigator is sick." Following this, Vivi says to Luffy, "You're a failure as a captain. Impulsiveness isn't going to solve anything, and if they all get killed, what'll happen to Nami?" Luffy then realizes Vivi is right. Fighting the people of Drunk Kingdom isn't going to solve anything. He then gets on his knees and now asks for the people of Drunk Kingdom to help them get a doctor so they can save Nami. To be fair, this was early during his journey as a pirate. He barely had any real experience and he did correct himself. But if it wasn't for Vivi, who knows what'll happen. Nami was very sick and they needed to see a doctor ASAP. Instead of trying to reason with the people, Luffy was getting ready to fight them, which was not a good decision at all. Now let's turn to Water 7 Saga. Throughout this saga, we've had several characters question Luffy's title as a captain of the crew. The first was Iceberg. This was when Luffy found out the Mary couldn't be repaired. Even though Galley Law told him the Mary was on its last legs and they couldn't go any further, and on top of that they offered to build him a new ship or something close to the Mary, Luffy rejected both options and said out loud to them he refused to believe what they say, and they're only saying this because they don't know how tough of a ship Mary is. Iceberg then went on to say to Luffy, "So you're willing to sail until she sinks? I'm amazed, and you call yourself the ship's captain." Now later on, Luffy did go on to tell Usopp and the rest of the crew the ship is no longer good and they need to get a new ship. This then leads to our next character question in Luffy, and as well as the fight between Luffy and Usopp. Following this fight, Luffy tells Usopp he can have the ship, but they're getting a new ship and moving forward. Now later on, during the climax of Water 7 Saga, Enies Lobby, Luffy did show a lot of growth as a captain. He gave Sanji the go-ahead to fight CP9. He made the decision to go to war with the world government to get Robin back, and he also made it loud and clear to everyone he's going to fight the pigeon bastard Lucci, the strongest. And I know you just brush it off as he's the main character and he's supposed to fight Lucci, who's the strongest, but Luffy's mentality was if he didn't fight Lucci would have went on to kill the rest of the crew, so he needed to be the one to beat him. Now during the post Enies Lobby arc, as Luffy was getting ready to go get Usopp back, Zoro stops him and questions him. He made it clear that despite them being all friendly and whatnot, at the end of the day they're a pirate crew, and if someone can so casually disrespect their captain, question their authority, challenge him to a duel, and just come back like nothing happened, then he no longer wishes to be a part of this crew. As a captain, Luffy must demand respect. When he makes a decision, the rest of the crew needs to follow and accept his decision, to which Sanji backs up Zoro. Luffy ends up listening to Zoro despite the idea of leaving his best friend behind hurts him. He realizes Zoro has a point, and at the end of the day, they are a pirate crew, and as the captain of the ship, he must demand respect. Now following Enies Lobby in Water 7, Luffy has greatly improved as a captain. He has had many moments where he proved to make a great decision. For example, telling the crew to run during Sabaody because they're not strong enough. Making the decision for the Straw Hats to take a 2-year break as pirates in order to train and become a stronger crew. And giving Sanji to go ahead and Dressrosa to launch a counterattack against Big Mom. These are all moments, whether it be good or dangerous decisions, show how Luffy as a captain has improved, and despite the decisions being risky, his crew accepts his decision and they believe and respect their captain enough to accept the decision and go forth with it. And despite the decisions being risky, he trusts his crew to accept his decision, and the crew believes and respect their captain enough to accept his decision and go forth with it. Now, as stated earlier, these are all good moments for Luffy where he proved to be a good captain, but the moment where Luffy established himself as a great captain was during the Whole Cake Island arc, specifically during the escape from Big Mom after crashing the wedding. Following Pedro's sacrifice, Luffy gave the order to set sail immediately. He told the crew if they waste this moment, then they'd be throwing away Pedro's sacrifice. Katakuri was the biggest obstacle stopping him from escaping. As long as he was in the way, the crew could not make a successful escape. Luffy then decided to take Katakuri into the mirror world so that the rest of the crew could escape, and then promised to meet them later. Once they got into the mirror world, despite there only being one mirror to take him back to the ship, just so the crew could escape, Luffy smashed the only mirror that would lead him straight into the Sunny, and went one-on-one with Katakuri in the mirror world. Now, if this moment was already that damn great, during the fight, there were countless times the crew was worried about Luffy's safety, but he pushed through every time and gave them the sign everything was okay. Despite going through hell in the mirror world, and his opponent was outmatching him in every which way. There's no arc now or before where Luffy had his opponent kick his ass like that. To me and many others, this is the moment or arc when Luffy became a great captain. You can argue and say, what about Wano? Well, in Wano, Luffy has greatly developed his leadership skills. But when it comes to being a great captain, we have to give it up to Whole Cake. He established himself right then and there. Anyways, guys, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Comment down below, let me know whether or not you agree with the points I've been making throughout the video. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button for more awesome One Piece content analysis like these. Once again, if you made it all the way here, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have an awesome day. Peace.